Priority 1 message coming in on secured channel.
Lieutenant Hawk, set a course for Earth.
Aye, sir.
Maximum warp. Report!
Main power's offline. We've lost shields. Our weapons are gone.
Perhaps today is a good day to die. Prepare for running speed!
Sir, there's another starship coming in.
It's the Josh Zodiac podcast. On this episode of the Josh Zodiac podcast, I'll be talking about my time here in Altus, Oklahoma as I venture north to Boise, Idaho with my new job and new adventure upcoming in the next week or so. You don't want to miss this episode. I do talk a lot about my job, the people I work with, and the awesome atmosphere that I had here in Altus, and looking forward to the new job in the near future. This is the Josh Zodiac podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the Josh Zodiac podcast, the greatest podcast you've never heard of. A podcast about wrestling, pop culture, movies, music, and whatever the fuck I want to talk about. It's my show. This is the podcast that believes that cowboy haters are bigger fans of the Dallas Cowboys than the actual fans of the Dallas Cowboys. Although after the game I just saw this afternoon, it's going to be rough all week because they're every fucking where. I at first would like to apologize. I have been MIA for a little while. It's been almost 3 weeks since my last episode. For those that did not listen to my most recent episode, I did accept a job offer up in Boise, Idaho, working for the Air Force, doing what I'm doing here, working in the weather field. I'm actually supposed to be, my report day is a week from tomorrow, which would be the 22nd, I believe is the day I'm supposed to be there. 22nd or 23rd, I forget. But tomorrow, which is the 16th of September, is my last day at the weather office. And then after that, I have 4 days of leave and then the weekend to get up there. The plan is to finish packing. Once I'm done with this podcast, I'm probably going to upload it tomorrow, work on it tomorrow, or maybe I'll do it tonight. I don't know yet. I haven't made up my mind. But it'll be uploaded sometime early in the week. As if you're listening to this, you obviously know this already. But I still have a couple things to pack up, a couple of things to get rid of. My final checkout with HR is going to be Wednesday. That's when they do the final paperwork. They may or may not confiscate my CAT card. I'm transferring from Air Force to Air Force. They may not take that. I would prefer if they didn't. And then my final checkout with housing, which is where I'm living, on base housing, will be Thursday morning at 9. I'm hoping to be on the road by 10. My goal is to have my car packed and ready to go by Wednesday before I go to sleep. So that's why I want to get all the packing done. I did the smart thing and checked to see if all of the stuff that would go in my car will fit, and the 2 big totes that I got will fit. The 2 smaller ones will go in the trunk. I did get a cargo carrier for the top of my vehicle. I'm not 100% sold on it, but it'll help. That's probably where all the sea bags full of clothes are going to go. Excuse me. But definitely I do have a plan. I just got to get most of the trash out of here by Tuesday. I did that. In my endeavors of trying to go through boxes and stuff to get rid of stuff, to transfer it from cardboard to plastic, And those that may or may not remember, earlier in the year, I got bit by a brown recluse on my lower right leg, just below the calf, right above the ankle. So when I see a spider now, I definitely am, I definitely am not a fan. So, did see a couple of those going through some of the boxes. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun. But yeah, I know people have been asking me, are you nervous? Are you excited? Are you happy? Are you sad? I'm a little bit of everything. Now, what I'm about to talk about here with this position, it's a bittersweet move because I wanted to stay where I was. I was very happy here. Still am very happy here. They gave me a nice little send off on Friday after work. Again, tomorrow, Monday, is my last day in the office, and then that's pretty much it. But I was happy here. They do want to make that position permanent, but from what I gathered, they have to have the position vacant for it to be changed from temporary to permanent. So that's fine. So that'll be good for somebody else. And I'm also looking at Boise as not just a step up, but it's also somewhere new I can go to learn my craft. Because there's only so much weather you can learn in the flat plains of Oklahoma and even northern Texas. There's really severe weather season is pretty much it. Maybe the winter months, but up in Boise, you're going to get the orographic mountainous weather, which I'm looking forward to learning about how that works. And they are bumping me up in pay a little bit, which is nice. It's not a big bump, but it's enough of a bump to go, all right, cool. A little extra money never hurt nobody. I did find a place to stay fairly early, so it was one big check mark that got done fairly early and fairly quickly. So I didn't have that lingering over my head for the past month and a half. I originally was going to go to Fort Cavazos, which is down in Killeen, but for whatever reason, they rejected my firm letter and retracted it. Never got a reason why. Well, that's fine. And then they never sent anybody out to do the secret clearance interview until I think a month ago, where they just whatever things popped up on the radar, they talked to you about it. I talked to the interviewer about it. And what I've gotten from her about the clearance is that there are people that have felonies that have clearances. The difference being is that how upfront and honest you are about things that you may have done in the past, which I was very upfront about. And as honest as I possibly could, there may have been information that I didn't know, but I definitely gave them what I knew. And I did find out, this is actually kind of funny, that the Domino's in Corpus Christi, Texas says I am unhireable, or I will not be rehired with them because I'm not a team player. And I'm like, wow, that's funny. And anybody who knows my story about that knows that's a bunch of bullshit. But that might be another podcast episode down the road. But there was a position that opened up, Fort Sill, which is Lawton, Oklahoma, which is about an hour east. But when I went out there to go visit them, I hadn't even got the position yet. I just wanted to see what they did because they were right there. They authorized me to go out there and take a look. I was out there maybe an hour and a half. And the vibe I got from the employees was superb. It was awesome. They were cool people. One of them was ex-Navy, so he and I got along almost immediately, doing weather just like I'm doing here. And then the boss man came out, and he was just this old crusty fuck, like, well, if you didn't go to forecasting school, you really shouldn't go and do this job. And I found out later on, after they gave me the position, which I did get, they were going to take too long with the clearance paperwork, and I didn't want to. They didn't want to do a waiver to get me there. So that's another reason why I rejected it. But he had called my supervisor and asked him a bunch of questions about me and the training program and all that. And he told me like a day or two later, like, look, I think you made the better choice because that might have been hell on earth with this old guy just questioning everything. And I know the older guy that was out there, he was like about to retire anyway, so I didn't like, who the fuck cares? But at the end of the day, I feel like moving to Idaho is the better choice. It's a better opportunity. And who's to say that I stay there for 2, 3, 4 years or whatever, and if another position opens up somewhere else, I can always transfer there. That's definitely an option. Like kind of like being back in the military, just PCSing out, for those who know what PCSing is. So I definitely, like I said, I'm everything. I'm nervous. I'm scared. I've been further away from home, than my home, I mean Corpus, before, but I always had people with me when I did it. And even when I moved up here, I didn't really feel like I was doing it alone because I was only 8 hours away. Now I'm going to be 28 hours away from Corpus. So this is probably the first time in a long time that I'm doing something on my own, and it's unfamiliar. It's a little scary, but I'm glad to say that I do have some incredibly awesome friends that have been very supportive. And I know there are people that would prefer to me to be in Corpus, but they understand that I have to follow my dream. And this is what it is. And if I could have my dream job in Corpus, I'd do it in a heartbeat. But unfortunately for that, I would have to have a degree, which I'm going to look into when I get up to Idaho, is getting my degree, in meteorology. Now, yeah, so that's enough about all that. Let's do a little transition here. I want to talk about my time here in Altus. Now, again, when I first got here, and even before I got here, I had told the supervisor that, hey, I have minimal forecasting ability. And he said, don't worry about it. We'll teach you. So right there, I already knew that, okay, this is going to be a good crew to work for. And yeah, there were days it was rough. There were days that but with it being rough, I mean, it was because I was still learning. And the working in the weather office is that some people don't understand that weather doesn't change instantly. It takes time. So when your work phone is blowing up because everybody's asking the same fucking question, when is the lightning going away? When is this fog going to clear up? I don't fucking know, because we need other information that the pilots give most of the time. Like, it's called a PIREP, it's pilot report. And they tell us the bases and the heights of the clouds. Well, if they just give us the bases, I don't know how thick the fog layer is to lift. So, but that was early, like I want to say it was like February or March time frame. I've gotten a lot more confident in my forecast. I've learned a couple of things about what kind of forecast not to give to pilots, including if they ask for weather on a particular track, to give them the weather aloft, not at the surface. I learned that one the hard way. But you laugh. I laugh at it now. We all laugh at it now. Like, oh, you know what? You were learning. You didn't know any better. And I feel like I'm a better person today than I was, 10, almost 11 months ago. When it comes to work, I feel like my time in Altus was very well spent. Again, I have an awesome crew, all the way down from Airman Rody, Rodesender, who is the newest guy there, and he and I worked together a lot the past couple of months. Mr. Vasquez and I also worked together, Mr. Senior Airman Vasquez. Of course, you got Sergeant Allred, who I feel, I've never said this to him, and I probably won't get the chance to because he won't be there tomorrow. He took a pass day tomorrow. I felt like he and I could have been like, I feel like we are friends, but I felt like we could have been like just crazy because he and I are so much alike. And even with Kobe Kobalarczyk, he's the Master Sergeant of the E7. He's, he was pretty much the boss man for the first 4 or 5 months I was there, because the captain and the other tech sergeant, the E6, were deployed. So we were shorthanded, and I'm learning from pretty much everybody. And we lost 2 other guys while I was here because they either PCS somewhere else or they just got in the military. But I definitely took advantage of learning from every person. And one fun fact about this place is that 3 members of this crew here were former instructors at the Air Force Weather School. So they definitely brought that particular, they brought that skill to the forefront for me, and were able to teach me, just the basics all the way up to where I'm at. And I'm, like I said, I feel a lot more confident today than I did, say, 6 months ago, because now I can look at what I'm looking at, the models, the forecasts, the different stuff that we look at for forecast, and write a forecast and be so much more confident in what I'm seeing and what I believe in versus what I saw 6 months ago. So, but I still have a long way to go. So it's not like I'm an expert. I'm nowhere near an expert, and I probably won't be for quite some time. But when it comes to my professional life, Altus was a smart decision. I knew that coming to Altus would be short term. I knew that going in. I knew it was a temporary position, but it grew on me. And that's why this move is also bittersweet, because these guys are awesome. They've taken really good care of me, and I would have loved nothing more than to stay here another year, maybe even longer, and make that position more permanent. But the thing about the Boise position, that the base is called Mountain Home Air Force Base, is that once I get qualified, which the captain up there is like, should take you a month, shouldn't be that long, which is fine. They're going to put me in what's called an NCOIC position, non-commissioned officer in charge. Pretty much my role is going to be doing the aviation weather, the flight line, and then training new people as they come in. So I'm pretty much holding like a billet for an enlisted person on top of the forecasting. At least that's the way I understand it. If I am incorrect, I will correct as such. But again, coming to Altus was the smartest decision and I thought Alaska was a good decision up until the very end. And the only good thing that came out of Alaska was that I met my buddy Rich, who I need to call because he's been asking me about the job, and he's always looked out and tried to get me a position doing what he does at a different location, and the higher ups just did not give me the phone call, which is fine. I found my own way. It is nice to know people in the job or in the field. They can help you out best they can. But at the same time, I would like to do it on my own power, which I did. Excuse me. But yeah, coming to Altus was the smartest thing I ever did. I knew it was a foot in the door, and I knew if I was patient, something would come, not something better, but just something would come along that was more permanent. And for those that are curious, if you're a temporary employee, you don't get any of the perks, none of the benefits. If you're a permanent employee, you get all the benefits. So that's another, and not only that, but it's job security. You know what I mean? A temporary position, oh, you know what? After a year, we don't need you anymore. Nice knowing you. They can let you go. As a permanent employee, you definitely have a little bit more room to stand in when it comes to stuff like that. So, and I'm going to be going from an office that's supposed to be manned by 8 people. We are nowhere near 8 in Altus. And going up to Mountain Home, which will be manned by 22 people plus, including me. So it's going to be different, seeing a whole lot more bodies. And it's not just the weather office. I have to talk about the OSS, the 97 OSS, which is the Operational Support Squadron. In my time here, I've seen they did a change of command not too long ago when Colonel Glover, he went to, I believe, North Carolina for an ROTC gig, which he was an awesome, awesome guy. I do miss him. He was so down to earth. In my experience, most guys that are officers at that level, they're pretty down to earth. But people are so scared of them. because of their rank. Like, dude, they're just a dude just like you. So I got to know him fairly well. He became a friend. And now with the new Colonel Slinger, I think I apologize, I can never say his name right, and I just call him the Colonel. It's not meant to be a joke, it's just, he's the Colonel. And when they definitely, not just him, but the guys in the weather shop were like, you have the spirit of the OSS in you. We see how outgoing you are. Whenever there's a function, you are more than willing to participate. Sometimes I was not participating. I was ball told, but that's a whole different story. But it's definitely not just the weather shop, but it's the entire organization in general. Just awesome people. Wouldn't have it any other way. They will be greatly missed. Now, we come to the unprofessional part of Altus, which is, Altus is only 18,000 people. It's tiny. It's small. And even Lawton, which is an hour away, maybe 100,000. And before I got here, I had the idea that, oh, you know what? I'll do the side hustle thing. I'll do DoorDash, and I'll do Walmart Spark Delivery, and I'll do it on the weekends. Fuck that. I hate that drive. I've only done it like 4 times, and I fucking hate it every time I've had to do it. So in Boise, I will have much more of an opportunity to do any kind of side hustle stuff to make some extra money. But I won't be doing it on work days, only on the weekends. Now when it comes to, and I know I've talked about this before, I did date a little bit while I was up here, especially when I first got here, and I definitely got some women with some red flags. I did date a computer, what was she, a computer analyst, I think? She did algorithms and wrote code and all that stuff, and thought that she could do anybody's job because she was so smart. So I showed her an uncoded weather forecast, and she said, oh, well, I would need time to look up the coding. I'm like, well, you just told me you could do anybody's job. So do this one. Oh, no, that's okay. So, and then she ended up paying for both of our meals, which to me, that was a huge red flag because I'm a little old fashioned. I asked her out. I would have been okay if I had paid, or if she wanted to go Dutch, that's fine too. But she ended up paying for both meals, and I'm like, okay. And we parted ways. Then she's like, we were talking about our second date, which we were both excited about. And the next day she tells me, oh, well, I had a thought. I'm thinking we should just be friends. I don't see anything romantic, but yet the night before we were talking about romantic stuff, but yet the next day all of a sudden it just went to shit. I probably could handle it a little bit better, but I was like, I'm not on, Hinge to meet friends. I'm there to meet someone to have a relationship with. So I'm going to respectfully decline your application process for friend or the friend zone. I've been in the friend zone. I fucking hate it there. It sucks. I'm out. And she was upset, but I blocked her number. It is what it is. Haven't looked back. And then there was Allison. And those who know me have known I've talked about Allison quite a few times. If you haven't heard about Allison, I'll go ahead and just give you a brief. Met online, went on a date on a Friday. We were a couple the following Saturday. Moved kind of quick. And that's because we were both looking for a way out of the date, which I thought was kind of a sign of things to come. She was trying to find a way out, but she couldn't find one. I couldn't find a way out. So I was like, just go on the date. It's just a date. If it doesn't work out, and she wasn't that far away. Verdon, Texas is only 30 minutes away. It's a lot closer than fucking Lawton. And then I think we had our Christmas party for work that same Saturday after our date. So I ended up inviting her to go out to the Christmas party, and then after that we were together. And then she broke up with me the day or 2 days before Valentine's Day, and right before my birthday for her cousin. Yeah, that's been well documented, and you heard that right. I didn't really date anybody after the fact. I just kind of, you know what? I'm shutting out. I'm going to work on me. And that's what I did. And I saw a much better version of myself when I worked on me versus trying to date somebody or trying to get someone to go out with me. So, I mean, parts of Altus I will miss, and there are parts that I won't miss. But the military aspect I will. The people, not so much. The people here are a bunch of assholes that are not in the Air Force. Let me clarify that. The civilians out in town are just a bunch of clowns. Whenever they would, oh, you're from Texas? Ooh. Like, dude, I didn't even say anything to you. I just parked my car and was walking into Walmart to go grocery shopping and didn't justify any response from anybody. But am I going to miss Altus? Like I said, parts of it. But at the end of the day, this is a bigger and better opportunity, and I'm going to grab it with both hands. And I'm going to do everything and anything and everything that I can to make it work. And I don't want to ramble on too much about that because there's a lot more going on. In the process of all of that's been going on the past couple of weeks, I found out that a old Navy friend of mine who we've kind of lost touch over the years, she just retired recently as a command master chief. Anybody who knows the Navy knows that's a pretty high fucking honor. I have yet to reach out. I don't know how that would be received. So I'm kind of sitting on it for the moment. I may change my mind when I get up to Boise and get settled in. Well, like I said, my plan is to work tomorrow. When I'm done recording this podcast, I'm going to probably do a quick not an upload, but have it ready to go, edit it real quick. While it's editing, work on something. I got to clean the kitchen, which shouldn't take too long. Get most of the trash that I need to get thrown out because Tuesday's trash day, and I won't be here for the Friday trash day. So get the majority of that out of the way. And then probably laundry on Wednesday. Or I may just do it Tuesday and get the fuck out the way. That way I can fold and get everything packed up, have an idea of how I'm going to load the car up again, have it ready to go, and then clean this house from top to bottom, from stern to stem. Just fucking make it look as good as it did when I got here, which isn't saying much, but that's a whole different story. Leaving here hopefully 10 o'clock Thursday morning, and should be in Boise. I didn't counter in the time zone because I'll be in mountain time, which will be a first, which means I would have lived in every time zone or be in every time zone for at least a day in America. So all 6 time zones I would have been in. Yes, 6. 4 in Conus, Alaska, and Hawaii. For those that didn't know. Hopefully get there by 10 o'clock on Friday, unpack my car, get whatever stuff I need, unpack, get settled, learn where everything is, and then just enjoy the weekend. Just enjoy myself, get to know my roommates a little bit better, and then go to work Monday morning and then back to the grind. And not really time off to enjoy because I'll be packing and moving the entire time. But definitely Saturday and Sunday will be days of rest, much earned rest and relaxation. Including I might even think about, I might get an adjustment, a chiropractor, and possibly a massage when I get there. Or I might wait till the following weekend when I get paid again. I don't know. Still up in the air. But with that being said, before I ramble on anymore, like I said, I am excited, nervous, scared, every emotion you could think of. I wish I had Data's emotion chip and you just turn this shit off and just do it, because it's definitely been very stressful. But luckily, people have been very understanding. We understand. It's okay to be distant right now. We know you're there. If you need any help, reach out. And I will say that I did get to go to Abilene last weekend to hang out with my cousins, Brittany and Lauren, my Aunt Tammy, and the rest of the family, and just kind of decompress and get some good food, and we watched some football and just had a good old time. And I won't be able to do that for a while, so I definitely wanted to take advantage of that. So, with that being said, this will conclude this particular episode of the Josh Zodiac podcast. Up and coming, this will be the last episode before I get up to Boise. Some possible changes to the podcast may be coming. For the moment, they've been just audio, and that's because the lighting in here is so horrible that it doesn't make any sense to use the camera. So I'm hoping when I get up to Boise, the lighting will be a little bit better, and I'll go back to the video and the audio. But there is a chance that I might be rebranding the podcast, the name in general. I don't know yet. I'm still thinking on that. I've got some time to think about it. But I might make the change. If any changes are made, I will definitely put it out there for people to know about. I will still be a part of all content as far as commentary is concerned. When it comes to the shows, though, the actual tapings and shows, I will not be there. That's an expensive way home every time, and I can't afford that, and I know the company can't afford it. So I will not be making very many appearances at the live shows. But like I said, when such changes are made, they will be put on all social media, which I will go over now. Again, if you want to follow my TikTok, my Facebook, or my X, formerly known as Twitter accounts, just search, like, and subscribe, or follow the Josh Zodiac Podcast on TikTok, Facebook, and of course X. As far as the podcast is concerned, you can search, like, subscribe, and follow us on Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts. I'm also looking into other forums or other spots to put my podcast onto, but for the moment, that's where they are, and that's just for the audio. If you want the video upcoming in the near future, that will be on YouTube. Just search up the Josh Zodiac Podcast, and on all those, please like, subscribe, and follow. It definitely gives me an idea of how my content is doing and who is actually listening to it. And if you have a topic you want to hear, excuse me, my voice got scratchy. If there's a topic you want to hear on the show, if you have a question that you would like answered, or just want to shoot me an email and say, hey, how you doing? Maybe a little quick review. You can email the show at thejoshzodiacpodcast@gmail.com. And last but not least, if you want to support the podcast monetarily, you can do that on both CashApp and Venmo. CashApp, you can do that at $Josh Zodiac, and on Venmo, it's at Josh Zodiac. Those that do will definitely get a shout out on the episode when they do it. That's not a promise. That's a spoiler, to quote the great Paul Heyman. I do appreciate those of y'all that do listen to the show. I know I'm still trying to find my niche. I'm still trying to find my audience, but those of you that are here, I do appreciate every one of you for sticking this. I've been doing this podcast since February, and it's now going to another state, further north, and an hour behind. So some big changes are going to be coming in the near future, and I hope you'll stick around for all those changes. But once again, this is the Josh Zodiac Podcast. I am the Josh Zodiac. I hope that I will see you on the next episode. I love all of you guys. Make it so.